Okay, thank you very much, John, for your time. We really appreciate it because we are 2 days away from starting ETHDenver, so I suppose you have to be very, very much busy.
Yeah, sleep is a precious commodity right now. So we'll go ahead and forego as much of that as we can until about 3 or 4 more days.
Yeah, I know.
And then we'll get through it.
So the first thing I would ask you is to introduce yourself and to explain how ETHDenver was created and how this event has become one of the most important events in the Ethereum ecosystem and I think in the crypto.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story. So for those of your community that doesn't know much about Colorado, which is probably most people, we have a very interesting sort of mix of social and political views here. So when Ethereum kind of hit the main stage in early 2017, where it kind of came out of hiding, where really only nerds and crypto junkies knew about it, our meetup groups swelled. Like the main one, ETHDenver, went from like 10 15 people to like 400 people.
Yeah.
So it was a really good sort of indication that there was a lot of interest in this. And when you look around at why, it wasn't like New York, which is the financial center of the world, and it wasn't California, which is the VC center of the world. It was because of our sort of social political views that we're very libertarian, but we're also very progressive in some ways. So not progressive in the typical sort of mainstream media way of talking about progressiveness, but in the classical liberal meets sort of technology meets emerging sort of thought space, right? So Ethereum hits all of those boxes. And we found that there was just a natural sort of like attraction to it here. And so we wanted to put our community to work and like, let's build some things. I get a little bored with like pizza, beer, and backslaps at meetups, right? Like we do it. Well, pre-pandemic, we did it a lot, but I want to build things. I'm a builder. So like I get bored just sitting around talking about stuff. It's like, talky. Let's walkie. Let's go do some things. So we had the idea to do a hackathon. And then, it was right before ETH Waterloo, the first one up in the Toronto area. We had several people actually attend from our community up there. And, when I had floated the idea of doing a hackathon previously, back in like September, maybe even before that, it was like, oh, I don't know, we've tried this before and it's really hard to get people to come and all this. I'm like, no. I'm not talking about just locally. I'm saying like, let's really take advantage of what Colorado has to offer. Colorado be the North American destination for Web3. Like I said, you got New York with the financial epicenter, you've got California with the VC epicenter. Like, why not Colorado for this next generation technology? We seem to fit it better ethos wise. So we just kept building it, and it just kind of spawned into an idea that went from, I was hoping for 400 people in the first year to 1,500 who actually came. Yeah, and it was like, it was nuts, right? So we're just like, it just blew up. And then so it just grew from there.
No, it's amazing. I was last year. I was last year and it was amazing, the atmosphere. So we will miss the physical atmosphere, but it's a week. So what can we find and how we can organize this week? Can you give us a little tips of because there are a lot of content we have to also to code, but what are your tips about in order to take the more from the event?
So there's really three main pillars to ETHDenver and how we execute the event. The first and the foremost, most important thing is come with an open mind. We have everything's free, right? So there's free content, free connections, free swag. Even we just sent out our free swag coupons to all attendees for Bufficorn.com. So education is the really big thing. It's the mindset of learning is a big component for us, and one of the things that we find somewhat inaccessible is a lot of people don't understand even what blockchains do and how it works. So we start with basic 101 stuff. Like we have a whole suite of content for that. So if you're brand new and you're like, well, it's a hackathon and I don't really know anything and I don't know anybody. Forget it. That's actually, you're the best people to come. So come and just consume as much as you can. Take notes and learn. And the next thing is community. Meet people. The thing that I love about the Ethereum community is like the people are the most friendly people that I know. I mean, there are, you know, crypto Twitter can get a little brutal.
Yeah.
but generally like you come to these events and people just want to help. They just want to, you know, talk to you about the technology and what it means socially and politically and you know what disintermediation really looks like and what decentralizing the future might look like. I mean, people want to talk about it. So I think community, for me, it's interesting because I've always been somebody that had in my social circle sort of, you know, weird views on things, you know, being an egalitarian libertarian, as I like to describe myself. You know, people are like, what? You know, like they don't even Bitcoin, who, what? And it's, they don't really understand my views. What I love about this is I have a global family. I mean, the people that I meet and that I talk to are like, yes, exactly. And I'm like, I've never experienced that before in a social setting. So for me, it's great. Like-minded people from all over the world, from all backgrounds, all identities, you name it, you're going to see it. And it's great because there's no sort of facade of pretension. There's no suits and other things. It's just literally come who you are. Be you. You do you. You be comfortable. You want to wear Bufficorn pajama pants and an event t-shirt. You can do it both literally and physically. Again,
I love the I love the shirts and I love the atmosphere, the colors.
Yeah, it's everything. It's just it's not. We're not trying to act professional. We're just, you know, work-life integration is going to be a thing in the future of Web3. You're not going to have these sort of, you're just going to do you. You be you. So that's our whole thing is you be you and just meet people, and you'll find that people are incredibly open and willing to be patient and just really collaborative. So the collaboration word sort of leads into the third one, which is really the main reason why we come here. The first two are fun and interaction, right? Socializing, and then learning, which are all really important. Biddling. So the meme biddle, B-U-I-D-L. So for those of you that don't know, like there's this meme in the Bitcoin community called HODL, which is the misspelling of hold. So you're supposed to just buy Bitcoin and hold it, right? So that makes the price go up, I guess. I do some of that myself, but it's not like, it's whatever. In the Ethereum community, we biddle. So we misspelled biddle.
Yeah, biddle, yeah.
Right? So in 2018, we actually introduced that as one of our hashtags for Twitter, biddle, right? And it just blew up. Now it's everywhere and it's all over the world. Everybody knows what biddle is. And it started at ETHDenver 2018. So biddling, as we call it, or building, hacking for a traditional hackathon is really important stuff to us. Okay, so talking and learning are one thing, but you have to apply it. And applying what you learn and contributing your creativity and expressing your sort of abilities and your contributions into a project and building, actually realizing the decentralized future is what it's all about. So it's a combination of experiences and education and community building, all to get into the point where we collaborate to build this decentralized future. So you can, if you're brand new and you're not, oh, I don't really want to build anything, I'm not sure yet. That's okay. Nobody cares. No one's going to force you. If you're like, well, I know enough to be dangerous, but I just kind of want to come and socialize, you can do that too. But the thing we really encourage people to think about is, what's your ultimate contribution to this? We're here to give you as much as we can so you can consume and extract value. But where it really becomes beautiful is when you see people contribute back and what they build. It's amazing. So the hackathon goes from Friday to Friday. There's content the whole time. So there's lots of different things to get involved in. We have our virtual game space, the VR space as well, which is kind of like Roblox meets conferences, or a reboot of Second Life, for conferences. and we're just gamifying and having a good time, but really focusing on building this next generation of technology.
Okay, thank you. And the last question, I think you have a very overview of what is happening, what happened the last year, and even the program is in some way some inspiration. So what do you think 2020 represents to the crypto, and when do you expect to the 2021? Because I see some ownership economy, I see some names or so about what will be the program. What is your expectation about? Because in some way you are like giving us some kind of inspiration about what we are going to be the 2021.
Yeah, well, here's what I think. I think when you see people like Mark Cuban and Elon Musk and other mainstream sort of like influencer types that like are respected by the traditional systems of our country, embracing conversation around DeFi and, you know, talking about what happened with Robinhood and GameStop, and talking about Bitcoin. I mean, Elon Musk's entire Twitter profile says Bitcoin. I think what you're going to see, well, talking about what happens in 2021, I think you're going to see a lot more mainstream discussion. I don't know that you're going to see full mainstream adoption yet, because I think there's a lot of you know, press narrative and boogeymen making that, you know, the traditional structures are going to do. But I think you're going to see a lot more mainstream conversation. And I think now people are going to start taking it seriously. It's not just, oh, you know, Ethereum's doing this for price or whatever. People are going to start really paying attention to how this impacts them, because it's going to impact them. I mean, Robinhood is a retail investment platform. And if that's not indicative of some of the, you know, power dynamics and extractive mechanisms and exploitation of data and information, I don't know what is. So I think you're going to see a lot more retail or just, you know, average conversation. I think what 2020 really represented, being a year of the pandemic, was a year to build. I think if you look around the crypto space, you know, the crypto space wasn't sitting around worried about pandemics. We're building. We took it as an opportunity, right? And, you know, when other people are kind of worried about this and worried about that, we're like, this is a big opportunity just to double down and focus on execution and, you know, get after it. So, you know, coming out the back end of that into the spring of 2021, I think we're going to see just huge acceleration in adoption and other mainstream narratives that are going to be interesting to see what the traditional structures of things do with it. Because, you know, on the one hand, you know, governments who are all controlled by centralized banks and, you know, in our case, the Federal Reserve, they don't want crypto to be successful. And if they did, like, what would be the motivation for that? Because, like, centralized banking makes interest on the backs of lending. So if you don't have really a centralized lending system, essentially, they can't make the money. And if they can't make the money, then I don't know if they're going to really like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
So, you know, they could say whatever they want, but like rational behavior from them would be to get rid of it.
Yeah.
To not let it happen. And so I'm waiting for when that shoe drops. You know, they say that first they ignore you, then they fight you, then you win. I don't think we've seen the fighting yet. I think we've been ignored generally up to this point. And
I agree.
It's going to be, the fighting is going to happen. However that looks, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's in the traditional, like, you know, we're going to fight, but like, it's going to be regulatory, media, discrediting, shadow banning, overtly banning. Who knows? Like, I have no idea what they're going to do. Like, I don't care. For me, I don't care, but I can't speak for everyone else. But I think we're living in a couple of years here that are going to be incredibly formative to the future of the entire global financial system and the entire internet of everything. So it's probably the only time I'd want to be living at this point in time. And we have a really big opportunity to educate people on the migration from scarcity-based abundance, which is currently the system of capitalism that a lot of the Western world lives under, and moving to a global system of abundance-based capitalism. So in other words, network-based and community-based value creation at an infinitely scalable value, potential. I mean, it completely changes the game.
I see. So thank you very much, John. I don't want to spend more time on you. You are very busy. Thank you very much. Congratulations for ETHDenver. Last year, it was. I feel like I've been home. So thank you very much. We are looking forward.
Welcome back. Welcome home.
Yes, to go to ETHDenver. So thank you very much for this opportunity and to collaborate with you. Thank you very much, John.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so just a couple things to highlight, like in the evenings after the content and things settle down, on Friday, we have a Minecraft melee with ETH prizes. On Saturday, we have a free roll poker tournament. The first 300 people to sign up, 10 ETH is a prize pool.
Oh, wow.
We have on Sunday night a chess tournament. So like in addition to the hacking, there's all sorts of things to do. The content is insanely action-packed. With like
the schedule is amazing. Yeah, the speaker.
It's. I mean, I don't know where else you even find this quality of content. I mean, DevCon's great, but like, this is like DevCon and everything else too, right? So, yeah. I mean, it's going to be excellent. So we look forward to meeting everybody. Yeah, we'll see you in the Ether space.
Okay, we will join for sure. Thank you very much, John, and we will see you next days.
All right, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.